Karen hit Aisha's disabled daughter with a stick. The girl lost her memory and forgot everything. The police won't help because Karen says it was an accident. But Aisha knows the truth. Now she will make everyone see who Karen really is and destroy her perfect life. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. The sun was setting over Willow Creek neighborhood. Aisha parked her van outside the tuition center to pick up her daughter Noor. She was tired after a long day at work, but seeing Noor always made her happy. Noor was 14 years old and used a wheelchair. She had been in an accident when she was 10, and her spine was hurt. But Noor never let this stop her. She loved math and science. She wanted to be a scientist when she grew up. As Aisha lowered the wheelchair ramp from her van, she heard a loud voice. "What are you doing here?" Aisha looked up. Karen Mitchell was walking toward her. Karen was a blonde woman who lived in the neighborhood. She was always dressed perfectly and acted like she owned the whole street. "I'm picking up my daughter," Aisha said calmly. "This is a public street." Karen's face turned red with anger. "That ugly ramp is blocking my view. You can't park here. It's against the rules." Aisha took a deep breath. She knew Karen was the head of the neighborhood association. Karen always caused trouble for families she didn't like. "Please, Mrs. Mitchell," Aisha said. "I'll be gone in 2 minutes. Let me get Noor." Karen stepped closer. Her high heels clicked on the sidewalk. "I don't care about your excuses. You people always have some sob story." Just then Noor came out of the tuition center. Miss Sanaa, her teacher, was pushing her wheelchair. Noor had a big smile on her face. She was holding her math test with a perfect score. "Mama?" Noor called out happily. "I got 100% on my test." Karen turned to look at Noor. Her face twisted with disgust. "Oh, it's the disabled girl," she said in a mean voice. "What's wrong with you? Why can't you walk like normal kids?" Noor's smile disappeared. Her eyes filled with tears. She looked down at her lap. Aisha's heart broke. She stepped between Karen and Noor. "Don't you dare talk to my daughter like that." Karen laughed in a cruel way. "Your daughter is a problem for this neighborhood. You should keep her hidden at home." "How dare you?" Aisha shouted. She was so angry that her whole body was shaking. Karen became even more angry. She looked around and saw some wooden pieces from a construction site. A neighbor was fixing their house. Karen grabbed a wooden stick and raised it high. "I'll teach you a lesson." Karen screamed. She swung the stick at Aisha. But Aisha moved away quickly. The stick hit Noor on the side of her head instead. Thud. Noor's eyes went wide. She touched her head where the stick had hit her. "Mama?" she whispered. Aisha ran to her daughter. "Noor." "Oh my God, Noor." Karen dropped the stick. Her face went white. I didn't mean to hit her," she said. "It was an accident." For a moment Noor seemed okay. She blinked and tried to smile. "Mama, my head hurts a little," she said. But then 3 minutes later Noor's eyes closed. She fell forward in her wheelchair. "Noor!" Aisha screamed. She caught her daughter before she could fall. Miss Sanaa called 911. Other neighbors came out of their houses. But Karen ran away to her house and locked the door. Aisha held Noor's hand in the ambulance. "Please be okay, baby," she whispered. "Please be okay." At the hospital, Aisha sat by Noor's bed. The machines beeped softly. Noor looked so small and pale. Dr. Patel came into the room. She was a kind doctor with gentle eyes. "How is she?" Aisha asked. Her voice was shaking. Dr. Patel sat down. The stick hit Noor's head very hard. "She has a brain injury. She's stable now, but there's a problem." "What kind of problem?" Aisha asked. "Noor has lost some of her memory," Dr. Patel explained. "She doesn't remember the last few years. She thinks she's still 10 years old before her accident." Aisha felt like the world was spinning. She doesn't remember anything? She remembers things from when she was very young. But everything after age 10 is gone. Her recovery, her studies, her dreams, she doesn't remember any of it. Just then Noor opened her eyes. She looked around the hospital room with confusion. "Mama?" she said in a small voice. "Why am I in the hospital? Did I fall down again?" Aisha's heart broke into a million pieces. Noor sounded like a little child again. "You had a small accident, sweetheart," Aisha said, trying to smile. "But you're going to be okay." Noor nodded. "Can we go home now? I want to play with my dolls." Aisha started crying. Noor didn't remember that she had stopped playing with dolls years ago. She didn't remember her love for math and science. She didn't remember wanting to be a scientist. "Soon, baby," Aisha said. "We'll go home soon." That night Aisha couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Karen. Karen had hurt her daughter and stolen her memories. And what made it worse was that Karen was acting like it was just an accident. The police came to ask questions. But Karen told them it was an accident. She said she was just trying to make a point and didn't mean to hurt anyone. These things happen, the police officer said. She didn't mean to hurt the girl. Aisha couldn't believe it. She attacked my daughter. She took away her memories. But the police didn't arrest Karen. They just gave her a warning and left. Aisha realized that no one was going to help her get justice for Noor. She would have to do it herself. After 5 days in the hospital, Noor came home. But she was like a different person. She asked for toys she had outgrown years ago. She wanted to watch cartoons for little kids. She didn't understand why she was in a wheelchair. Mama, when will I be able to walk again? Noor asked every day. Aisha had to explain over and over that Noor's legs didn't work anymore. Each time, Noor cried like she was hearing the news for the first time. Aisha also had to help Noor learn everything again. Simple math, reading, even how to use the bathroom by herself. It was like having a 10-year-old in a 14-year-old's body. The hardest part was when Noor asked about the accident. Mama, what happened to me? Noor asked one night. Why can't I remember anything? Aisha didn't know what to say. She didn't want to tell Noor about Karen. She didn't want to fill her daughter's mind with anger and hate. You just hit your head, baby, Aisha said. Sometimes that makes people forget things. But we'll make new memories together. But Aisha couldn't forget. Every day she saw Karen walking around the neighborhood like nothing had happened. Karen went to her job, talked to her friends, and lived her perfect life. Meanwhile, Aisha had to quit her job to take care of Noor. She used all her savings to pay for doctors and therapy. She was tired, broke, and angry. One day, Aisha was at the grocery store when she saw Karen. Karen was laughing with her friends and buying expensive food. Oh, Aisha, Karen said with a fake smile. How is your daughter? I heard she had a little accident. Aisha's hands turned into fists. Her name is Noor. And it wasn't an accident. Karen's friends looked confused. Karen quickly changed the subject. Well, I hope she gets better soon, Karen said. These things happen, you know. Children are so clumsy. Aisha wanted to scream. She wanted to grab Karen and shake her. But she just walked away. That night, Aisha made a decision. She couldn't fight Karen with violence. But she could fight her with truth. She would make everyone in the neighborhood see who Karen really was. Aisha started watching Karen carefully. She learned Karen's schedule, her habits, and her weaknesses. Karen was obsessed with being popular in the neighborhood. She was the president of the homeowners association. She threw fancy parties and acted like she was the queen of Willow Creek. But Aisha noticed that Karen's life wasn't as perfect as she pretended. Karen's husband Richard worked late every night. He seemed tired and unhappy. Their son Ethan was quiet and shy. He never smiled when he was with his mother. Aisha also noticed that some neighbors were getting tired of Karen's bossy attitude. Mrs. Chin complained that Karen had yelled at her for painting her fence the wrong color. Mr. Rodriguez said Karen had reported him to the city for having too many cars in his driveway. Karen ruled the neighborhood through fear. People were nice to her because they were scared of her, not because they liked her. Aisha decided to use this against Karen. She would help the neighbors find their courage to stand up to her. First, Aisha started talking to her neighbors. She was friendly and helpful. She brought cookies to new families. She helped elderly neighbors with their groceries. You're so different from Karen, Mrs. Chin said one day. You actually care about people. Aisha smiled. We should all look out for each other. Slowly, Aisha built friendships with her neighbors. She listened to their problems and helped them when she could. She was becoming the kind of neighbor that Karen pretended to be. At the same time, Aisha was collecting evidence. She had asked the tuition center for the security camera footage from the day Karen attacked Noor. At first they said no. But Aisha kept asking and explaining how important it was. Finally, Miss Sana helped her get the footage. The video clearly showed Karen hitting Noor with the wooden stick. It proved that Karen was lying when she said it was an accident. Now Aisha had to find the right time to use this evidence. Every month, the homeowners association had a meeting. Karen always ran these meetings like she was the boss of everyone. She made rules that helped her and her friends, and she ignored complaints from other neighbors. Aisha decided to go to the next meeting. She hadn't been to one in years, but this time she had a plan. The meeting was held in the community center. About 30 neighbors were there. Karen stood at the front in her expensive dress, smiling her fake smile. Good evening, everyone, Karen said. Tonight we're going to talk about the new rules for Halloween decorations. The neighbors looked bored. Karen was always making rules about silly things. Aisha raised her hand. I have a different idea to discuss. Karen's smile became tight. We're talking about Halloween decorations right now, Aisha. This is more important, Aisha said, standing up. I want to talk about safety in our neighborhood. Some neighbors nodded. They were interested in hearing about safety. Karen looked annoyed. We can talk about that after we finish with decorations. No, Aisha said firmly. We need to talk about this now. 3 months ago, my daughter was attacked right here in our neighborhood. The person who attacked her is sitting in this room right now. The room went completely quiet. Everyone turned to look at Aisha. Karen's face turned red. That's ridiculous. No one attacked anyone. Aisha pulled out her phone. I have video proof. She connected her phone to the projector that Karen used for her presentations. The security footage from the tuition center appeared on the wall. Everyone watched as Karen grabbed the wooden stick and swung it at Noor. They saw Noor get hit in the head. They saw her fall unconscious. Gasps filled the room. Some people covered their mouths in shock. That's not what happened, Karen screamed. It was an accident. The video shows exactly what happened, Aisha said. You attacked my daughter because you were angry. You hit her so hard that she lost her memory. She doesn't remember the last 4 years of her life. Mr. Rodriguez stood up. Karen, how could you do this to a child? She's lying. Karen shouted. You all know me. I would never hurt a child. But the video didn't lie. Everyone could see Karen's anger and violence. Mrs. Chin stood up too. You know what? I'm tired of being afraid of you, Karen. You're a bully. You made my son cry when you yelled at him for riding his bike on the sidewalk, another neighbor said. You reported my family to the city for having a birthday party in our backyard, said another. One by one, the neighbors started sharing their stories about Karen's mean behavior. Years of anger and frustration came pouring out. Karen looked around the room desperately. You're all against me. This isn't fair. Aisha stepped forward. What's not fair is that you hurt my daughter and faced no consequences. What's not fair is that you've been bullying this neighborhood for years. I move to remove Karen Mitchell as president of the Homeowners Association, Mr. Rodriguez said. I second that motion, Mrs. Chin said. Karen's mouth fell open. You can't do this to me. But they could, and they did. The neighbors voted 28-2 to remove Karen as president. Only Karen and her best friend voted against it. Karen gathered her things with shaking hands. This isn't over, she said to Aisha. I'll make you pay for this. No, Aisha said quietly. You're the one who's going to pay. Everyone knows who you really are now. Karen stormed out of the meeting. Aisha felt a weight lift from her shoulders. This was just the beginning. After the meeting, news spread quickly through the neighborhood. Everyone was talking about the video and Karen's behavior. Karen's husband Richard saw the video too. He was shocked and embarrassed. I can't believe you did this, he told Karen. How could you attack a child? It was an accident, Karen kept saying. But no one believed her anymore. Richard was a lawyer and he knew the video could be used in court. He was worried about his reputation and his career. I want a divorce, he told Karen. I can't be married to someone who hurts children. Karen's world started falling apart. Her husband was leaving her. Her neighbors hated her. Her friends stopped talking to her. But the worst part was that people in the whole town started finding out. Someone posted the video online. Local news stations picked up the story. Neighborhood bully attacks disabled child, was the headline. Karen lost her job at the real estate office. Her boss said she was bad for business. We can't have someone with your reputation working here, he said. Karen tried to fight back. She hired a lawyer and threatened to sue Aisha for showing the video. But her lawyer watched the video and told her she had no case. Actually, the lawyer said, you could be charged with assault. I suggest you lay low and hope the family doesn't press charges. Karen realized she had lost. Her perfect life was ruined. She had to sell her big house and move to a small apartment across town. But Aisha wasn't finished with her revenge yet. 6 months after the community meeting, Aisha got a call from the local newspaper. They wanted to do a story about Noor's recovery. We've heard about your daughter's amazing progress, the reporter said. Despite everything that happened to her, she's doing well in school again. That's inspiring. Aisha agreed to the interview. She and Noor met with the reporter at their home. Noor had recovered much of her memory by this time. She remembered her love for science and her dream of becoming a scientist. She was back in advanced math classes and had even joined the school's science club. I don't remember everything, Noor told the reporter. But I remember the important things. I remember that I love learning. I remember that I want to help people. The reporter was impressed by Noor's positive attitude. "How do you feel about the person who hurt you?" she asked. Noor thought for a moment. "I feel sorry for her," she said. "She must be very unhappy inside to want to hurt a child. I hope she gets help." When the story was published, it went viral. People all over the country read about Noor's courage and kindness. They also read about Karen's attack and how she had shown no remorse. Karen saw the story and called Aisha. "Please," she begged. "Tell them to stop writing about me. My life is ruined." "You ruined your own life," Aisha said. "You chose to be cruel and violent. Now you have to live with the consequences." "I'm sorry," Karen said, crying. "I'm so sorry for what I did." "You're not sorry for what you did," Aisha replied. "You're sorry that you got caught. If you were really sorry, you would have apologized months ago." Aisha hung up the phone. She felt no satisfaction in Karen's tears. Her revenge had never been about making Karen suffer. It had been about showing the world who Karen really was and getting justice for Noor. 2 years after the attack, Aisha and Noor were doing well. Noor had recovered most of her memories and was excelling in school. She had won several science competitions and was planning to study astronomy in college. "I want to discover new planets," Noor told her mother. "Maybe even find one where people can live." Aisha was proud of her daughter's dreams. Despite everything she had been through, Noor remained optimistic and kind. One day there was a knock at their door. Aisha opened it to find a teenage boy standing there nervously. "Mrs. Khan," the boy said. "I'm Ethan. Ethan Mitchell." Aisha recognized him immediately. He was Karen's son. He had grown taller and looked more confident than she remembered. "I wanted to apologize," Ethan said, "for what my mother did to Noor. I saw it happen and I should have stopped her." Aisha invited him in. "You were just a child yourself," she said. "You couldn't have stopped her." Ethan sat down nervously. "I live with my dad now. My mom, she's not doing well. She's been in therapy but she's still angry all the time." "I'm sorry to hear that," Aisha said, and she meant it. She didn't wish suffering on anyone, even Karen. "I wanted to ask," Ethan said, "could I do something to help Noor? Maybe volunteer at her school or help with her science projects. I'm good at building things." Noor had been listening from the kitchen. She wheeled her chair into the living room. "Hi, Ethan," she said with a smile. "I remember you. You used to draw pictures of birds." Ethan's face lit up. "You remember that?" "I remember lots of things now," Noor said. "Would you like to help me build a telescope? I want to look at Saturn." From that day on, Ethan became a regular visitor to their house. He helped Noor with her science projects and became like a big brother to her. He also helped around the house, doing repairs and yard work. Aisha watched them work together and felt her heart heal a little more each day. The attack had brought pain and trauma, but it had also brought new friendships and showed her the power of community. 5 years after the attack, Aisha received an invitation in the mail. It was from the community center, inviting her to speak at a conference about bullying and disability rights. She decided to accept the invitation. At the conference,